Chinese thieves. They're stealing our jobs. They're stealing our technology. They're stealing our patents, and they're stealing our ISPs. They're stealing everything. Bunch of thieves is what it is. Chinese tariffs. Tariffs on China. Tariffs are 125%, 145%, 250%. Are these things true? Nowadays, yes, they probably are. But once upon a time, in a land far, far away, in a country that I was born into, actually it's slightly before that, a guy named Tricky Dick Richard Nixon. See, there's a reason these nicknames exist. But he was such a great statesman, a great American ambassador, United States ambassador. He opened up, he broke down the barrier to China and opened it up for American trade, you understand? I've been shouting this stuff for the last 3 decades. The trouble with this is, yeah, China's stealing stuff, and yeah, they're manipulating their currency, but the only thing that stole anything was the U.S. corporations and perhaps the government. So Richard Nixon opened up China. Why? Well, we could exploit their labor. We can pay those people peanuts to do the assembly jobs and the manufacturing jobs. We're too smart for that. We don't need those jobs here. And it grew and it grew, and then you come about the 1990s, and I saw this as factory after factory after factory in my area closed. They just disappeared. They didn't close and build a new location. Not here. Those jobs were gone. But the jobs still existed, just not for Americans. They sent them to China, and they sent them to Mexico. Who? The United States corporations. Why? Because they can pay those workers peanuts. There's no labor laws. You'll do as the state tells you to do. You'll work for peanuts and no bathroom breaks. Some of those people over there live at their jobs Monday through Friday, sometimes Monday through Saturday. They go home for a day or two. It'll be fine. They actually live at their at their employer's facility to make those goods to ship abroad, primarily to America. It's a full 1/3 estimates of everything that China produces goes to America, so we can buy it back from them. I mean, how could this go wrong? What could possibly be the problem? So 1990s, Slick Willie, President William Clinton, signs the NAFTA agreement, North American Free Trade. It's going to open up. It's going to revolutionize. This is going to be so great. What it did was allow drug cartels to ship their drugs into America, and we can't check the trailers, primarily through Mena, Arkansas, but it's going to be great. And there was a guy named Ross Perot who was a bit of a kook, quite a bit actually. He was running for president, and he said, you're going to hear a big sucking sound. And what that sucking sound is going to be is all the jobs pulled out of America and going to Mexico. And a lot of them going to Canada as well, going elsewhere. From 1993 to 2021, 70,500 American factories gone. Not gone to another state, or maybe somebody with some, little fair trade on taxes. And this is a big thing. Individual American states will give tax benefits to corporations. You come to our state, and you want to pay any kind of profits, profit tax, income tax for 5 years, let's say. Or we'll build your whole infrastructure for you. We'll put up the money to run your pipelines and your sewage and your water and build the new streets with the new stoplights and all this stuff that this factory is going to take, or this manufacturing facility. We'll pay that. The state will, which means the taxpayers. But we'll do that to get the jobs in our state. But no. These jobs weren't going to another state. They're going to another country. No more jobs for Americans. And the corporation said, well, We had to. We can't compete. Maggots like that, what's his name, Kevin O'Leary, he's going to bellyache about how's unfair trade practices with China. They steal our IPs. There's no legal repercussion. There's no system in China for American companies that have been ripped off. There's no system for us to fight them through the courts. What are you doing over there? Why are you there? The Trading with the Enemies Act of 1919, I can't remember, has never been repealed. And what it says in the Trading with the Enemies Act is, any individual or corporation or entity that is doing business with or causing a communist country to profit is guilty of treason. This was never, it's been unlawful for a century. But the corporations allowed to do this by the United States government, well, we can't afford to compete. We can't afford, well, it's interesting that you say that, because it turns out corporate profits have gone up about 600%, give or take, since the 1990s. How can you afford that? How can CEOs' compensation shoot the moon? I thought there wasn't money to compete and you had to go to China. See, we've been fed for decades this crock of, a crock of bullshit. Oh, we can't afford to compete, and the goods here would be so expensive. Your VCRs would be like $80 billion unless we get slave labor in China to produce it, and now they're only 160. It's BS. It's lies. Otherwise, dividends wouldn't be up. And who's worried about the stock market? Oh, the stock market took a hit because of the tariffs on China, the tariffs on everybody. Oh, the stock market. Who's in the stock market? Primarily the top 1% of America, the already millionaires and billionaires. Oh, what's he doing? Messing around with the tariffs. Something had to be done, because this country is circling the drain and it's just almost over. Something had to be done. But why are we pissing around with 125% tariffs, 145% tariffs, 200 and such and such? And he's already caving on that, and the art of the deal. Get the hell out of there. What are you doing in China? What were we ever doing there? Exploiting their workers, because it wasn't enough to exploit our own workers. It wasn't enough. We can't buy 4 yachts on American workers' backs. We can only get 1, and this ain't right. Oh, the stock market. Who else is in the stock market? The boomers. And through their pensions and whatnot that are set up. I mean, this whole thing is getting ready to crumble. But, point being, something had to be done at some point. I'm saying draw the line. But the thing is, the trick is, the window of opportunity here is super narrow. You're playing a dangerous game. And the reason why is, we don't have any manufacturing facilities left in America. They're all overseas. Or in the country to the south of us, and various other locations. Well, how are you going to build stuff if you don't have any factories? What should have been done is an announcement. You have 6 months, you have 9 months, you have a year, maximum. You better start ramping up the facilities and get it ready, because we're making it illegal. Actually, we're going to reinforce the law is more accurate. There's no more trading with the enemies. We're bringing the jobs back here. And if you don't get them from here, you can't sell. And if you continue to sell, your CEOs and your upper management are going to prison. How do you think the Chinese empire got so... they were an agrarian economy for thousands of years. It was backwater of the world. Until we came along, and opened up free trade. That's a great deal for one of us. And now 80, 85, 90% of your goods are coming from China, and you're going to poke that bear. And what's going to happen? Now you're going to see it in the stores. There ain't going to be as much stuff available. The prices are going to shoot the roof. Oh, the Chinese tariffs, even if they're not, they are. Because you have an excuse now. I mean, fuel prices went down. Did we see the price of anything go down? The COVID supply chains kind of worked themselves out. That was the excuse to raise prices even further. Have those prices gone back to 2019 levels? No. And they're not going to. They're going to get even higher. Oh, the tariffs. Oh. What a crock. What an absolute crock. And the American people just keep falling for it. And now we're going to blame the Chinamen. I got no problem with the people of the country of China. They're trying to earn a living just like we are. You know what the U.S. exports to China? Raw materials, which tells you it's somehow cheaper to harvest raw materials here in America, ship them halfway around the world to China, have them assemble the stuff, ship it clear back to America where we can buy it. Somehow that's going to be cheaper than just building the stuff here. No. We need 4 yachts minimum. We need that stock market and those dividends to be high for this next quarter. Not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, not your next generation that's coming up that all of a sudden doesn't have any jobs. Just this next quarter. We'll worry about the next quarter after that. How can every year be a new record profit? Who's going to buy these goods when everybody's unemployed? And what money are they going to use to do it? This stuff pisses me off, man, because they've hollowed out the manufacturing and the middle class of this nation, and they've done it willfully and with full intent. And now you're going to cry? It was not fair. It's unfair trading practices. The hell out of here. You people ought to be in prison. The ones that participated in this shit. I mean, it pisses me off. This has been done. Look at what General Motors did. Took those bailouts, shut down the plants anyway, went ahead and filed bankruptcy after Obama told us they're too big to fail. And they did all that. And then when they got out of their crap and sold shares for pennies on the tens of dollars, they moved the factories to Mexico and China. Well, there's a great American cut. Bring it home to the USA. Like a rock. Yeah, like a rock that's sinking. It's bullshit. And Americans keep falling for it. Yeah, we should do the tariffs. It should be illegal. And what's China going to do? They're going to send all that stuff to Vietnam, and then Vietnam will sell it to us. And China's been hurt, don't get me wrong, but the whole empire has been financed by the corporations of America, by the CEOs, by the shareholders. Go buy your United States flag and fly it proudly. It was probably made in China. And they can take all that money and buy some ballistic missiles and point them at us. How's it worked out? And then to have the audacity now, Kevin O'Leary, whatever the hell your name is, to cry about it. I mean, he sat there and told us on the news, any company that I invest in that's over $5 million and we go to China, that's the first step. Send it to China. Because there's some real money to be made now. We can really exploit this and wring out the last of America for our own benefit. And cry about it. Piss off, Kevin O'Leary. And they're even crying about that. This isn't right. You shouldn't be messing with the Chinese tariffs. I had to unload. But it's not going to calm me down, anybody. I've been pissed about this for 30 years, at least. Because it just keeps going on, and it's going to keep going on. He's already backed off the technology. Because Apple went to him and said, hey, what about our... We're working on the 6th yard, and you're cutting us short. All right, we're going to pause those for a minute. By the way, a couple other things of note. Number one, how are you going to power all this? If the jobs really are and the factories are coming back and they're going to invest here to get out of the tariffs, as is the plan, which is, that part of it's good. How are you going to power it? The infrastructure in this is like second rate, kind of crumbling as it is, and you're going to put all this drain on the existing grid. That ought to be interesting. Number two, who's going to work these jobs? The young people now that are already struggling mightily, a lot of them unemployed, can't find where. You think they want to go to work in a factory? Stand on a concrete floor for 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, maybe work third shift. You think they're going to go for that? That's certainly going to be interesting, isn't it? Meanwhile, we'll just cry about it. He shouldn't be messing with this. I'm supposed to retire in 2 years. My 401k. You put your comments in the doobly-doo if you want to. I'm sorry. I'm pissed off. It's crap. It's a bunch of crap. It's been crap for 50 years, at least. Except that, in the 90s, boy, they got just hyper aggressive. We're going all out. Walmart, didn't you? 85% of your crap from a communist country that exploits their workers and manipulates their money system. How could this go? 82% of your medical supplies, and now you got a whole country eating the pharmacologicals and the psychotropics. What could possibly go wrong? I do thank you for watching. I don't know, we'll survive it somehow. We have everything else. I mean, maybe. It'd definitely be interesting to watch. I thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I'll see you next time with a little more cheerful attitude. Thanks for watching.